Hello, this is an explanation of how to attach your MR820 maize baler to the tractor. Put your PTO on the tractor, put the clutch on the baler side. You have two hydraulic connections on the machine. One is the pressure side, the other one is the return. The return is the big tube. It needs to have a 3/4 inch attachment on the tractor, which is the female part. You get the electric cable, the power supply cable, supplied with the machine, connected directly to the battery of your tractor, so you are sure you have your 12 volt definitely. These are all the connections you need to do before you can start working on the machine. This is the bunker system of the baler. You have a door in the front which you can open. This gives you an impression of the inside of the baler. We have an elevator chain on the bottom to feed the maize inside into the bale chamber. In the front of the bunker there's a panel which you can remove by taking the clip away, and afterwards you can take the whole panel out. This gives you a better opportunity to clean the bunker when you finish working. Underneath the bunker you have an extra storage possibility for one roll of net extra. To open the side panel you need to push a pin inside this hole to open your chamber. When you have opened the panel from the bale chamber, you can see on the right side in driving position what's underneath the panel inside the baler. This is the netting system. The netting system you can take out of the baler, which gives you more access and easier access to change the net. Also you can use the brake, which is this one. If you need to give more brake, you put it on this hole. If you want to give less brake on the net, you put it on the first hole. All the time when your machine is on operation, make sure that these two sensors are on. This should be the position of the netting system when you start baling all the time. There's a sticker which tells you how to put the net inside the system. There's another sticker inside which tells you the greasing system of the machine, when and how you have to grease it. When you want to open the net box, you need to take off the V-belt from the pulley first. Take the wheel belt off, open the lock. Taking the lock off and the V-belt away, you can slide out the whole system out of the machine. This is giving you a better access to the net system. To put in a new roll of net, you take away the lock for the netting and you take the holder out. To replace the net, you take this holder away . Now you can put on the new roll of net. After the new roll of net, you put the holder back. You put it back and make sure that the one-way plates are coming inside the roll of net. This is very important for the brake system. Put the roll back into position. When the net is installed, you can slide the box back into the baler. Fix it back. And put the wheel belt on again. This is one of the most critical parts of the machine, so be aware that when you take the net box out, take the V-belt off, make sure that before baling the two sensors, cam 1 and 2, is on position, and look if the tension of the net is adjusted correctly. Not too much tension, not too less tension. Normally I would say it should be sitting in the middle position. That's the most ideal position, number 2 and number 3. Make sure that when you have been baling a little while, that the tension on the chains is correct, or otherwise adjust it. For the rest, on this side of the baler there's nothing which is really very interesting or important. I think I explained you most of it. Now I'm going to tell you the most important things about the wrapping part of the machine. This is a button. If you press this one once, your wrapper arm will come to the home position. It means it will stop on the sensor. If you press it twice, very fast, it will start wrapping continuously. These are the stretch units. On the stretch units there is a sticker telling you how to put the film inside the units. When you start wrapping, you open the roll against the spring. You take the pin out, you put the upper roll into the fixed position, you put the roll of film inside, you take it out, you put back the pin, you put in the film according to the sticker I showed you before. You move your alley rollers against the film and you put the film into the knives. This is the home position for the wrapper arm, sensor A5. These are 2 switches for the safety stop. Safety stop is only for when somebody is hitting the safety arms, the wrapper arm will stop. Inside the wrapping system there's 4 rollers. There's 2 front rollers and 2 back rollers. The front rollers are always opening when the bale is coming out of the chamber. The back rollers are opening for unloading the bale. Inside the cut and hold system there is a knife. If the film is not cut off very properly, you can adjust your knife up and down a little bit if it's necessary. On the stretch units there's also 2 bolts which you can loosen in order to change the position. I mean the position, the height of the stretch units, in order to get your film in the middle of the bale. This can be important when you have different bale sizes. This is the left side of the baler in driving position. On the mud guards you have the hydraulic system. There is also 2 CAN bus software systems. One CAN bus is for the baler part, one CAN bus is for the wrapper part. Inside the hydraulic systems there's a few oil flow adjustments which can be important. This one is important for adjusting the overlap from the bale, meaning when the wrapper arm is going faster, the return system table is going slower. But in any case, you need to adjust this one to get the right 50% overlap. There's one more overflow valve. This is the overflow valve which you can adjust the speed of the return system. This is the overpressure valve for the return system. There's also 2 adjusting valves which are normally not being used. These 2 valves you can adjust the speed of the cut and tie system from, and the other two valves are for changing the speed of the back rollers and the front rollers of the wrapping table. There's one more valve which could be of any importance. This Allen screw is the adjustment screw for the slow speed of the wrapping system. When the wrapper starts up, it first comes into slow speed, and after one round it goes into high speed. So if the slow speed is too high or too low, you can adjust this screw. On top of the box for the hydraulic system, you have the emergency button. If there's any sort of problem, push the emergency button and everything is going back into non-stop. Be aware that if there's any sort of problem on your control box, that you have not pressed the emergency button by accident. In front of the tandem wheels and hydraulic system, there's one more flow valve. This is the main flow valve. If all the oil which is coming from the tractor is going through this valve, don't give too much oil and don't give too much less oil. I would suggest to give the maximum oil of the tractor to 30 liters per minute. If the whole wrapping system is going too slow, just open this one very, very slowly, only a few degrees, because this is quite a big valve. If you open this one, the other flow valve, which I just explained to you, for the overlap should also be adjusted then. There's a pressure filter for the whole system, this one. There's the auger system for returning maize which has been lost during the process, and this is going back into the bunker. In front of the system there's a valve to change the direction of the the bottom chain. Normally this should be on the left side. If you want to make the bottom chain going into the opposite position, just move it to the other side. This can only be necessary when you want to take maize away from the return system. When you do this, there's an opening facility on the back of the return system. I will show you this one. On the back of the machine, underneath the unroll bar, there's a clips. You can remove the clips and you can open the back gate when you want to clean your system. When you have finished wrapping, you just clean the system, you open this one, move it to the top, and then you can move the chain system to the opposite direction and clean the whole return system. Underneath the side cover you have following important things. This is the oil system. This is oiling the chain every time when the baler is opening. In the settings you can change the amount of oil in seconds. Now it's standing on 5 seconds, so it means every time when the baler is opening it will give oil for 5 seconds. If this is too much, you slow it, you change it to 4 or 3 seconds. If you think it's not enough, you go the other way. Maximum is 10. Behind these two white boxes you have the relays and you have the fuses. So if there's any sort of electric problem, check if the relays are okay and if the fuses are okay. This is the clutch system. This clutch is engaging the baler when you press on start. There's also a manual function which you can move the clutch on and off. Two sensors on top are giving the position of the clutch, when the clutch is on and when the clutch is off. Coming back to the oil, you have to make sure that when the oil tank has been empty and when you fill it up, there is no air in the oil system. So move the air out before. There is also a screw there, which is this screw is the shear bolt, which is sitting in the main system. So if something happens inside the belt chamber, this bolt needs to break and you have to check it. On the rear door of the baler, there's one switch which is indicating that the bale unroll system is going to the bottom. There's one more switch, the one with the plastic on. This is a switch which indicates that the baler is closed. There's a sensor on the top of the machine which is indicating that the baler is open. There's a potentiometer there which is giving the signal to the system that the bale chamber has reached its volume, or that the density has, arrived. This is an adjustable setting. We have set the machine on a basic factory setting, so officially you don't need to change it. The only thing what you need to do, or what you can do, is change 85 to 90 centimeters inside the monitor to make the different bale sizes. There's a safe stopper there. When you open the bale chamber and you want to go inside for what sort of reason to repair it, always fix it before you go inside. Underneath the bunker you have the support foot. Always put the support foot on the ground when you start baling. On the same position you have the oil pump. This oil pump is only for generating oil to the baler part. It means opening the baler and doing the bottom conveyor chain inside the bunker. These are the only functions what this pump is doing. All the rest of the oil for the baler part is coming from your tractor. You can fix your control box on this plate. This is the most ideal place on the right side of the machine to have your control box. This is the basic screen on your monitor, or the beginning screen where you are normally in when you are baling. When the PTO is off, you don't see anything than the date and the time and the situation where the baler is in. At this moment the baler is on stop. It doesn't do anything. These are the PTO rounds. This is the bale size. It's an indication. This needs to go to 100. When 100% is reached, then the netting will start automatically. This is the net length. This will give you the length of the net which is being made on the bale after when the bale is finished. And this is giving you all the revolutions. It's set it now on 13. When 13 has arrived, the wrapping will stop. When I start the PTO, you can see that the start position is coming on the screen and the net tying position. This happens at this moment when I have 200 rounds on my PTO. Officially, this should always be on minimum 500, but then we are going to change the settings in the service menu. We just put it on 200 now to give you an idea how it works. This is very important. When you start up the machine, you press start, and the machine starts going. When you want to stop the machine, you press this button, and it stops, and start is coming back automatically. This is very important. Start and stop. When you want to do net tying during baling, you can press net tying manual. Officially, net tying is always going automatic when bale size of 100% is reached. Okay. PTO has switched off, so now you can see that start and net tying has gone. So you cannot use your baler. Now I will explain you something about the manual way of using the control box. When you want to go to the manual functions, you press this button. When you press the button, you can see the status of the machine. It says net viewer is active, cam 1 and 2 is active, rear door is on the way, wrapper arm is at home, bale is in wrap position. This is only giving you an indication of the status of the machine at this moment. This is very important. When you want to do something on your baler, you go to baler 1 and you can use these manual functions. This is the conveyor on and backwards is the conveyor inside the bunker. This is the net motor on and reverse, and this is the chamber from the baler open and close. These are the three functions which you will have on baler 1. If you want to have more functions, you need to go to baler 2. You press this button once again, and then baler 2 appears. In baler 2 you have more manual functions saying clutch is on and off. If you press on, the clutch will go on and the baler starts turning. If you put off, the clutch will go off and the baler will stop turning. This is an external function. You don't use it. This is the horn, which is an indication of unloading the bale. This is the greasing system. If you press this one, you can give oil to the system manual. This is an additive function. This is when you want to give acids on the machine, for instance. It's not really an awful lot done with maize. These are the two functions which you can have on baler. Baler 1 with these functions, baler 2 with these functions. These are all the manual functions you have on the machine in baler 1 and baler 2. Now I show you the wrapper functions. This is wrapper 1. On the wrapper 1 function you can open the front rolls and you can close the front rolls. These are the front rolls in the wrapping system, the black rubber rollers. This is the bottom conveyor. This is the conveyor system underneath the machine. Also in wrapper 1 you can open and you can close the bale chamber. For more functions you go to wrapper 2. In wrapper 2 you can open your back rollers and you can close your back rollers. You can again use your bottom conveyor, and again you can use your chamber open and close. So in wrapper 2 the only extra function you have is back rollers open and close. There's also wrapper number 3. If you go to wrapper number 3 you can use home function, meaning that the wrapper is going back to the home position, to the sensor A5. You can press slow, then the wrapper arm will go slowly round. Until you release it, it will stop. When you press fast, it will go slow for 1 second, and after 1 second it will go to the fast speed. When you release it, it will stop going. If you press this button, auto, it means when you have a bale on the wrapping table, it will do the whole cyclus. It will go wrapping slowly first, it will open the knives, it will go into fast speed. After the set it rounds of wrapping, it will open automatic the knives and it will cut out the film. It does not unload the bale. Unload, it will give the signal drop. When you press the drop button, it will unload. In this function, wrapper 3, you can also open and close your film cutters. So you have wrapper 1 with these functions, you have a wrapper 2 with these functions, and you have wrapper 3 with these functions. These are all the manual functions of the machine. If I press this button again, I will come to the settings, and the counters and the calibration, the user settings, the fault memory, the sensors and the additive. This is a very important screen when your baler will have a malfunction. You can go to the settings to do and adjust all the timers. This is the way how you go through the settings, up and down, and this is the way you change the settings. If I want to change the binding rounds to, meaning that I want to give more net on my machine or on the bale, I can change it from 3 to 3.5. I can also go backwards. Binding mode, meaning that the netting is automatic or the netting needs to be done by hand manual. All these functions are written down in your manual, what they're doing and what the factory settings are. You can just go through the whole settings by pressing the arrow down and the arrow up and plus and minus. If you want to go back out of this setting system, you press the back button and then you come back to the main screen. If you want to go to another settings, you can just press it and you can go to the counters. Counters means that you can fill in your customers. How many bales you have done for your customers, you can see afterwards when you're using this counter system. You press back and you go back to the system. Calibrate is not of any use, we're not using in this baler. User settings is something which is not very important. It's more the service manual for somebody who wants to do service things, and it's not really something which needs to be used by by the user. One thing which could be important is the indication of the voltage. This should be definitely more than 11, say 12 volts. User settings, fault memory. This can be important when your baler has a malfunction. You can look what the last malfunction has been on your machine. Now it says no rappels. It gives ET0519. The 05, the first two letters, gives an indication what sensor or what switch is causing the problem. So no rappels means that sensor 05 has not been activated. You can give the details. It gives you also sensor A5 wrap arm home. So this can be a very important thing if something is not correct on the machine. So we go to your fault memory. Sensor is another important thing. These are all the sensors and switches which are fitted on the machine. So if there's a function not working correctly, for instance the wrapper arm home function, it means that sensor A5 could cause a problem. So you go to this menu, sensor menu, you activate sensor A5 and see if it switches on and off. Now sensor is on, it means the wrapper arm is on the home position. This is also a very important thing, only when you have problems and to find out what the problem is and how it has been, caused. Another one is the additive, which we are not using in this baler. If you press this one, you come back to the main menu. So if you want to do something on your machine, you go to baler 1 or baler 2, you can go to wrapper 1, wrapper 2, wrapper 3. You can also go to settings, counters, user settings, fault memory and sensors. You don't use this one, you don't use this one. This is in I would say most of the things I can explain you about the monitor. And for using the machine, it should only be on this screen, and hopefully it will always be on this screen, because the more you need to go into these screens or these screens, it means you have problems, and problems is something that nobody is waiting for. I hope I've told you more or less most of the things which are important on this machine. I would say it's not a very complicated machine to operate, and if you start up the baler and you put maize inside the bunker, it should start to work. And if the net system is working correctly, I would say the whole machine is operating. If there's still any sort of problem, you know where you bought the machine from or where the machine is coming from, please don't hesitate to grab the phone or send an email and launch your questions. What is not working good on the machine, and we will do our best to help you out and to get the machine back on the job. This is everything what I want to say on this video. Thanks a lot and good luck.